the commander of Donald Trump's so-called blitz of Chicago, admitted that he lied during a deposition. That's according to a federal judge who reviewed the deposition and the evidence of an ongoing hearing over the use of excessive force in Chicago. We have footage from that deposition, and we're going to go through it here today on All Rise News, here on Legal AF, part of the Midas Touch Network. Take a moment to hit subscribe. Folks who've been following this channel for a long time know and are familiar with Greg Bovino, the Border Patrol Sector Chief for El Centro, California, and he's become the face of Donald Trump's so-called Operation Midway Blitz, the immigration raids, where clergy have been hit with pepper balls, where we've seen tear gas thrown by Greg Bovino, captured on tape. And he's been asked about that and other incidents in an extensive 5-hour deposition, portions of which hit the public docket and are now open to be reviewed. I'm going to look at some of the coverage that's been coming out of federal court in Chicago from the Chicago Sun-Times and local TV outlets, and the judge there who is deciding whether to issue an injunction blocking the use of excessive force. U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis said that Bovino himself admitted that he lied in this deposition. One of those reports came from John Seidel, the federal courts reporter from the Chicago Sun-Times. He wrote, quote, Ellis turns to the testimony of U.S. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino, how he denied using force against a man he tackled and said he didn't see Reverend David Black hit by pepper balls. Quote, more telling, she says, defendant Bovino admitted that he lied. I'm going to play the first of those clips. And this is a clip about the older man who Bovino denied tackling. The lawyer you'll see in the clip says that Bovino's position during this testimony is that someone watching the video says, don't believe your lying eyes. Here's a clip.
Did you see on the video that tell you this older gentleman is named Scott Blackburn? This gentleman turned to comply with your directions, and he also expressed vulgarity and obscenity in your direction as he was complying, right?
Objective form.
No.
That didn't happen. You didn't see that on the video.
I didn't see what you said.
Right. And then you got over the barrier, tackled this man to the ground, and arrested him, right?
No.
Did you not tackle him?
No.
Okay. So if somebody were watching that video and thought that you tackled the older gentleman whose name is Scott Blackburn, you'd say, don't believe your lying eyes. That's not what happens on the video.
I wouldn't say that.
Would you say that that is not what's depicted on the video?
I wouldn't say that either.
Or do you acknowledge that you're tackling Mr. Blackburn on this video?
No.
Okay. What do you think you're doing to Mr. Blackburn?
I'm imploring Mr. Blackburn, or whoever that individual was, to comply with leaving the area and to comply with instructions.
Okay.
Now, it's important to note that Greg Bovino thinks not a single one of the federal agents in Chicago, everything that you've seen going down in Chicago in the name of Donald Trump's immigration policy, all of it is fine. All of it is exemplary. As a matter of fact, he pushes back in this deposition when he is asked whether it was exemplary. He says it's more than exemplary. And he's asked about their more than exemplary conduct with a Protestant clergyman. And this is a clip where an attorney for a coalition of journalists, protesters, and clergy who are suing the government over their actions in Chicago questions him about that incident. Take a look.
You remember there was a Protestant clergyman by the name of David Black who is actually one of the plaintiffs in our case. Do you remember the man's name?
No.
Do you recall? Let's assume, and I realize you can't tell from the pictures, but let's assume hypothetically that federal agents are striking, you've seen the video, striking Reverend Black with pepper balls that are being fired from the top of the ice facility. Okay, just assume that with me. And that Reverend Black is standing where he's standing, his arms are outstretched, and he's saying something that we can't hear. Do you have my assumptions in mind?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay. In that circumstance, assuming that everything I said is true, is the use of force that is shown in the video and in these photographs in terms of the striking of the pepper balls, is that exemplary?
Objective form calls for speculation, called in a hypothetical.
I won't make a decision on a hypothetical situation, a situation that either I'm not involved in nor do I have any direct knowledge of. I don't know.
Okay. So you are not willing to say that that's an exemplary use of force?
I'm unable to comment on that use of force.
Okay. How about better than exemplary? Is that a better than exemplary use of force?
Same objection.
I'm unable to comment on what that use of force is or anything else. I was not there.
Now, as I mentioned, the line that you just saw in that clip where he is speaking, where the lawyer is asking him about the so-called exemplary actions toward that clergyman who was hit by a pepper ball from an elevation, he is referring to Bovino's testimony that nobody did anything wrong. Every one of his agents has responded to the situation on the ground in Chicago in a more than exemplary fashion. This is the language that he's referring to. This is a clip.
In your judgment, every use of force that you've seen has been exemplary, meaning the least amount of force necessary to accomplish the mission. Is that still true today?
Objective form mischaracterizes the testimony and the report.
No.
Okay. Have there been uses of force that have been less than proper?
No, all uses of force have been more than exemplary.
I see. So they have been actually, what would be the word?
More than exemplary.
Now, there are other incidents that Judge Ellis says are lies that we don't have the footage of. The entire deposition hasn't come out. Only portions of it have come out on the public record. But one of the portions that we don't have, but we've seen in court documents and we've seen on DHS's social media accounts is they claim that Greg Bovino had to throw tear gas into the crowd because he was nearly hit on the head with a rock from a protester. It put him in very serious danger. According to reporting by a local TV station in Chicago, that too was a lie. Here's the headline. Federal judge says Border Patrol Chief Greg Bovino lied about being hit with a rock before deploying tear gas in Chicago. And that is the reporting from the ground from people who are in federal court watching a federal judge review the evidence of what the treatment of protesters, journalists, religious individuals on the ground in Chicago, how that factors in with the federal agents' justifications for that treatment, for the pepper balls, for the tear gas, for the tackling of individuals. And she's saying repeatedly that Bovino himself is admitting that he's lying again and again. The hearing has been ongoing for a number of days. We'll see how she addresses what this judge calls those admitted lies. But to take a step back here and look at the big picture, there have been, for a number of months, a lot of concerning news reports about the commander, Greg Bovino, on the ground, the face of Trump's operation in Chicago, when he was the El Centro sector chief and working in that capacity for Border Patrol. There was local press, local reports, and we reviewed it here on All Rise News, accounts of him claiming that a major raid that happened in California swept up mostly people with criminal records. And local press looked into it, and every person swept up in that raid but one did not have a criminal record. I also reported here on All Rise News and with Legal AF that during the trial, the Posse Comitatus trial, that Greg Bovino was the one who had questioned the patriotism and questioned the loyalty to the United States of a U.S. Army general who was the commander of the operation, because that U.S. Army general didn't think it was necessary to send in the troops into an iconic park in Los Angeles. This is the latest episode of it, and we will see how a federal judge will react to what she describes as Greg Bovino's admitted lies. For these and other updates about the cases that you care about, visit www.allrisenews.com. That's www.allrisenews.com. I'm a fully independent journalist scouring the public record, finding these video clips and bringing them to you in context. If you want to support that work, take a moment to subscribe to my free newsletter. And if you want to go farther and get full access, take a moment to become a paid subscriber and allow me to do the work that I do. And if you just want to know when the next video is going to show up, another free action you can take is hit subscribe right now for Legal AF. Shortly after this video was recorded, U.S. District Judge Sarah Ellis issued an injunction blocking Greg Bovino and the agents that he supervises from chilling the First Amendment rights of the people of Chicago.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.